right, stop. Stop and acknowledge your partner. All right. So here we are. Let's do a brief review. And by the way, this isn't even unique to sex and intimacy. We could be having the same conversation about any area of your life. Okay, we just happen to be using sex and intimacy. We could have called this the despair seminar, but no one would have registered, so we had to call it something sexy. Right, so here we are. Our clearing for sex is covered by our act, colored by our act, which is a response to a past failure. We're left hopeless in despair, pretending that we're not, being strategic, hoping it will all turn out, all the time wondering about how it could be. Welcome to your life. Now, here's what there is to get. That is your probable, almost certain future in the area of sex. Everyone, everything is some version of that. You've got your version of that, but it's just another version of that. So however many people, there's 68 people in the room, so there are 68 versions of that, but it's still the same thing. No, nobody wants to get that. It's rare. This is what I heard a lot on the group calls that I was on, is it's rare and it takes courage to face the despair and to just be with it. Consider you've never just let the despair be up until now. You've developed all these strategies to avoid having to deal with the despair. You've never just let it be. You've never let that experience just be. You're trying to fix it. You're trying to change it. You're trying to do something with it. But if you can just be with the despair, if you can be with whatever comes up, you give yourself the freedom and the space to just be with it. On the other side of the despair is freedom. But if you run from the despair and you can't actually be with it, you never actually granted being, all you're left with is hope. It'll still be there. You'll just cover it up and pretend that it's not. It's still there, though. People who run from the despair and can't be with it have a life of hope. They don't have a life of fulfillment, freedom, and joy. But they do have hope. There is the possibility of freedom, but you have to go through the despair to get there. The despair is your ticket. So if you run from it, you'll never get there. You'll just keep coming up with more strategies and more strategies and more strategies. So now what do you see in this conversation? Okay.
Take on the experience. I guess take on the experience of being with that despair that I've been avoiding for a long time.
Yeah. Like how long? How long have you been just avoiding that experience?
Puberty, probably.
But really, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I really got that. Like a lifetime of despair, never really letting yourself just be with it. Okay, who else? What are you seeing in this conversation? Okay.
For me, I'm feeling freedom in just, I like to fix things. I'm a fixer.
Yeah.
And so even, I put my own pressure on fixing like the despair for Josh, I guess, if that makes sense. And so
Yeah,
I have all
that's
this
one of your
pressure.
strategies.
Yeah, so I have all this pressure, and so now I'm just feeling this freedom of, oh, well, I can never actually fix his despair. It's just gonna, so there's not, I can't, be having sex this much and he'll finally feel fulfilled. It's like I can just be, and, maybe sometimes I'd be like, oh, honey, are you despairing? No, but like for me, that's actually really freeing to know that I can't actually fix that.
You can't. I mean, you could try, but it's just going to be another form of a strategy. Okay, good. All right, who else? Yeah, Robin.
So what I see is, since I always want to fix it, or not be numb to it or not be present to it. What I'm getting from what you're saying is just be with it. Be with exactly the way it is. And then, but I still see like that's a strategy for hoping that something else will.
You could turn it into that. You could
Okay.
definitely turn it into that, but then consider you're not actually letting it be. Right? You're gonna bring more hope to it. Letting it be would just be being present, accepting your experience as your experience, without adding anything to it, without doing anything with it.
And it's like I don't want to. I don't want to experience like that's my predictable future.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what you were.
I want to avoid it.
You want to avoid it.
Yes.
I know, but that's what's kept you trapped.
That's amazing. I mean, if that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just being with the uncomfortable, yucky feeling of the way it is.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and consider you've never been there.
No.
Right, so you have no idea what's on the other side of it, right? Because you've spent your life trying to avoid it. Yeah. So now, there's something like, you can get a glimmer of something opening up.
No. Avoidance is a strategy. So if I stopped avoiding, there's something else, is what you're saying. And I don't know what that something else is, so I'm just going to be curious. I still like the avoided, the uncomfortableness wants to still take me out. That's like, it just is pulling
Yeah,
me to.
and that's gonna be there,
Yeah.
that's probably not gonna go anyplace.
Yes, so that's all I see. So it's like, okay, it's like trying to go through a tunnel that you know is gonna be yucky. That's my word, yucky is my word.
Yeah,
So, that know that there's a light on the other side, you just gotta go through it. You know, I never had a child, but a mother who gives birth, and that, you know, probably there's plenty of mothers here who can say that, right? There's something they go through, and then there's light, because there's life at the end of that.
yeah,
So that's what I'm gonna use as a way to get through it.
great,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you. So I'll give you just a little bit from the Creating Happiness seminar. So we are mostly not present to our experience. We're mostly unconscious to our experience. But if you actually let yourself get present to your experience, what I mean by your experience is your feelings, your body sensations, your emotions, your thoughts about it. If you actually just first of all get present to it, that's kind of your ticket in, right? And the more you can just let yourself experience your experience and be with your experience, it creates an opening for you actually to start to have a say in your experience. But you can never have a say in your experience if you never let yourself be present to what's already there. You'll just avoid it. Like you said, you'll avoid it. Doesn't mean it's not there. You just pretend it's not. Yeah, and that.
Question. So the despair, which happens repeatedly, it's
Yeah.
not like you go through it once and you're done. And like you're saying with this seminar, this is what you can call it sex and intimacy, you can call it relationship seminar, you can call it whatever. So if I'm hearing you, it's just feel the despair.
Yeah. Let yourself experience the despair.
Yeah, like you go through a divorce or a breakup, feel that
Yeah.
to get to the freedom and joy.
So for anyone who's ever, so when my mom died 2 years